Well, next I want to turn to Jeff Jordan, who's kit bashing a station so that it looks like a prototype that he wants to have built. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, this fits very nicely with the mentions of Kit Bash tonight, that I was called upon by my club. As you may recall, in the past, I've discussed my club is in the midst of a project to reconstruct the historic 1915 B&O Depot in Middletown, Virginia, and are in the midst of fundraising in cooperation with the town of Middletown, who's enthusiastically supporting this and raising money as well. And one of the things the club decided they needed to help do this was a model of what we were trying to achieve. And when a fellow who was going to scratch build the structure became incapacitated, and they kind of looked around and said, well, what do we do now? And I said, well, I think I can kit bash something that won't be exact, but it'll be close. And I thought it would be interesting to show you how I took a commercially available kit and modified it to resemble the prototype. So there's the prototype. That's the Baltimore and Ohio station that once stood in Middletown, Virginia. Today it's a vacant lot. And we are in the midst of planning, plans, permitting, and so forth, and hope in a couple of months we'll actually start moving dirt. But that's the building I needed to replicate. I searched high and low, up far and wide on the internet. Nobody makes a model of a station that looks like that. And I wanted to get a jump start on this. I could have collected all the bits and pieces and taken a shot at scratch building it. As you've seen, I've done a number of styrene scratch builds in the past, but then I discovered this. This is Altoona Model Works' kit called the Branch Line Station. And though it's not an exact replica with a number of steps, it was able to be modified to closely resemble the prototype. And you've seen my preview, and at the end, I'll put them side by side. But this is the model kit that I acquired to modify to build the station. And so the purpose of tonight and following 3 weeks after this is to show you how I modified the kit. It's not, how to build a wooden kit, but how I modified this particular wooden kit to make it resemble the prototype. So with that, the Altoona Model Works kit has got an interesting approach. It comes with a core, and that's masonite. It's about 1/4 of an inch thick, so it's very stout and gives you a very solid core to build the structure on. But then it also required a fairly stout material, had to be modified to more closely resemble the prototype. And so here, those are actually the front and the back wall and the two ends, and I'm showing how I modified them. In the center there, the long wall is going to be the back wall. You can see that the front wall was identical in the kit, and I added a window that wasn't in the prototype, or it wasn't in the kit, but was in the prototype. And so with a bandsaw, drilled and cut out an opening for an additional window. The other trick is, you noticed in the window, this building is remarkably narrow. And so I wanted to narrow the building to more closely resemble the prototype. So this is the stock end, and with the bandsaw, just cut off those pieces so that this approximates the width of the prototype. And then what to do with these bits, rather than throw them away, I glued them on the ends of the sides there. So the building is narrower than the kit started out, and it's longer by adding those bits on to the ends. You lose in the process the tab and slot construction, but that's not a big deal. There it is. The 4 sides glued together. Also, the gables have been in place, though not yet trimmed to match the new roof line, and clamped together. And you can't quite see in the photograph, in the interior there, I actually have little squares in the corners to make sure everything comes out nice and square. The kit also does come with this piece, which I preserved, and which helps stabilize the long walls. So next, the kit is finished with a siding material, very nice scribed siding, wood scribed siding material that matches the original base. And so you have to modify the ends and the sides to match the now modified base. So on the far right here, you can see this is the stock part flipped upside down where I've marked where to cut to match the modified base. And then here's the other one cut and just cut simply with a little square, metal square, and a sharp, fresh X-Acto knife, carved those pieces right off. Notice that you also had to modify the roof line a little bit, because when you moved the ends in and you want the roof to come out at the same place, it drops a little bit more quickly. So you carve that off as well. So the ends are easy, but now the sides, because they've been lengthened, you need to make up the material. And so using the material that I cut off the ends, you can see that you can put it in place on the sides. Here's the manufacturer's original sides set in place, lined up with the windows and doors. And then the additional piece laid in place, marked with a sharp pencil, and then again with a straight edge and a sharp knife blade trimmed to fit. Then the last step for tonight is, here's the new window where I took the bandsaw and opened an opening in the base, and now need to cut out that. And again, it's clamped in place exactly in the right spot. Again, a sharp pencil gives me this outline on the interior of where I need it to cut it out. Notice that the opening here, unlike the other openings in the kit, which are oversized, is cut pretty close to the appropriate size of the window casting. And so it's outlined here. And then, because I'm going to start cutting this thin siding material, I've both taped it here to help prevent it from splitting. And while I was at it, I also put a piece of painter's tape on the other side, pressed into each of the slots on the siding to prepare for cutting. And I would come back again with this metal square and an X-Acto knife and cut that out. And so that's as far as I'm going to get tonight. Next week, I will show you how I actually cut that out, install windows, install trim, and also modify the roof, which is a significant change from the stock kit, but just using the materials that come in the kit. But for purchasing one more Grant Line window, fortunately the kit uses Grant Line windows, and I was able to match it by buying another Grant Line window. Everything else in the basic structure came out of the kit box and a supply of a little bit of strip wood. Now you'll see ultimately I add some details, but the building is just pretty much out of the box, but reformatted to more closely resemble the prototype. So that's what I've got for tonight. And next week I'll pick up with the roof modifications.
Anybody have any questions for Jeff? Comments, suggestions? Hateful remarks?
It's a nice kit, incidentally, and if anybody is interested in it, Altoona Model Works is on the web, and the kit is currently available.
Jeff, I appreciate it so very much. Thanks so much for your help.
Thank you.